everyone, it's Mrs. Dix here with your February guidance lesson. Today's is going to be pretty easy. We're talking about something that we all know about and that you guys have probably learned in the younger grades, so kindergarten, first grade. But we're adding on a little bit of a very, very important part to this big thing called listening. Okay, so when you hear the word listening, you know what I mean by listening. It just means that we're listening to who's talking, right? And we all know what a good listener looks like. But today we are talking about something very specific. We're talking about a certain kind of listener. Today we're talking about something called whole body listening. Okay? So what is whole body listening? It's exactly what it sounds like. There's no tricks today. Whole body listening is basically showing someone that you are listening to them with your whole body. And so we are listening with our ears. And when you're listening to someone, your eyes are doing something very important as well. They're looking, they're paying attention, they're watching the speaker, right? And then also, when we're listening to someone, our hands are not messing with other things. They are by our side. And are our feet up in the air doing crazy things, or are they on the ground? Yes, they are on the ground. Another thing that you may not think of right off the bat is that our bodies are still when someone's listening. And so if someone's talking to us and we're moving all over the place, and then we're moving all the way over here, and then we're moving all the way over here, are we showing them that we are listening? No. So your body as a whole has to be still as well. And then there are two parts that we are kind of adding on. The first part is that our brains, our minds, when someone is talking to us, should we just be wah, 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 wah as they're talking to us, or should we be thinking about what they're telling us? You're right. We should be thinking with our brains about what that person is telling us so that we can understand. And then this is the part that I'm going to add on, okay? We are going to talk about listening with our heart, okay? It might sound a little silly at first, but you'll understand here in just a minute. So when we listen with our heart's job, there's many jobs that a heart has, right? Hopefully it's beating, hopefully it's helping us stay alive, but it also has a job to love others and to show kindness to others. But there is one word specifically that we are talking about today. When we think about whole body listening, our heart is definitely part of that. And your heart needs to be caring. Okay? The word is caring. And so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you an example. So a few weeks ago, we know was the Super Bowl. And for many of you, that was a really fun, exciting night. For me, I'll be honest with you, Mrs. Dix does not like football. It's just not really my thing. I don't pay attention to it. If it's on the TV, I don't really watch it. But I decided I was going to watch the Super Bowl with my husband, okay? And so he is really into football. He used to play football, and so he really keeps up with all the teams and the coaches and all the players and things like that. So he's really into it. Well, while we were watching the Super Bowl that night, he was telling me all kinds of crazy stuff that I don't really care about. He was telling me about the coaches and about what a 1st and 10 is and what a flag on the play is and what a personal foul is and all these things. And if you remember, I told you I don't care about football, right? And so do you think that the things that he was telling me, did I care about them? No. But here's the trick question. Even though I don't care about those things, do you think that I was still listening to him? The answer is yes. I was still listening to him because I like to use whole body listening to make sure people know I'm listening to them. Even if it's something that we don't care about, if we're using whole body listening, then we're using what? Our heart. And if you remember, our heart's job is to care, okay? And so even if I don't care about what he's telling me, do I care about that person? Yes. And so if you care about that person, you still listen with your heart to show them that you care about them. I want you to think of a time that maybe your mom, your dad, your grandma, your best friend, whoever, was talking to you about something that you were just not interested in at all. And you didn't really care to hear about it. But do you care about that person? Do you care about your mom, your dad, your best friend, your brother, your sisters? Hopefully the answer is yes. And so if you care about that person, you still need to listen with what? Your heart. Good job. All right, I'm going to do something a little bit different now that we've not done in any of the other videos, and we're going to see if it works. Hopefully it does. I have the lights kind of dim in here today because I'm going to show you a short clip from one of my favorite movies. It's called Inside Out. Okay, I love this movie because it talks about a lot of different feelings that all of us feel at some point. In this particular clip, I want you to notice what the problem is, who is feeling sad, okay? Who shows that person that they are using full or whole body listening, and who does not show that person that they are using whole body listening, okay? I'm going to go ahead and try my best to get this to turn on and see if we can see it when it comes up. And also, just so we know, I am going to try to play it right here, but I'm also going to end up uploading this video that you're about to see on my board underneath the assignments under this video as well. So that if you can't see it really well right here, you can always click on the link and watch it that way as well. All right, let me see if I can go get its play.
Go to the moon!
It's gonna be okay.
Riley, No, you can't keep my rocket to the top! Riley, I go to the moon! Riley can't be done with me.
Hey, it's gonna be okay. We can fix this. We just need to get back to headquarters. Which way to the train station?
I had a whole trip planned for us.
Hey, who's ticklish, huh? Here comes the tickle monster. Hey, Bing Bong, look at this. Oh, here's a fun game. You point to the train station and we all go there. Won't that be fun? Come on, let's go to the train station.
I'm sorry they took your rocket. They took something that you loved. It's gone. Forever.
Sadness. Don't make him feel worse.
It's only I left with Riley.
I knew you and Riley had great adventures.
Oh, they were wonderful. Once we flew back and died, we had breakfast twice that day.
Sadness.
It sounds amazing. I bet Riley liked it.
Oh, she did. We were best friends. I'm okay now. Come on. The train station is this way.
Okay. Alright, sorry that took me a minute to get it working. Okay, so in this video, there were a couple things that I noticed. The first thing is, why was Bing Bong upset? Okay? He was upset because he just saw his rocket, one of his favorite toys, go over the side of the mountain, if you saw that, okay? And that would make him really sad, right? He was really upset because that was one of his favorite toys. And so for us to understand why he was so upset, I want you to think about maybe one of your favorite toys. I know for me, one of my favorite things that I have at home is something that I use to cook with. I love to cook and I love to bake like cupcakes and cakes and things like that. So that's almost like someone taking all of my cooking stuff and taking it and pushing it over the side, just like what happened in this video. And so when you think of your favorite toy, I want you to imagine that just happened to your toy as well. And it makes us pretty sad, it makes us pretty upset, and maybe a little mad too, right? So that is how Bing Bong is feeling. And so when Joy comes in, was Joy using whole body listening? Was she listening with her heart? I don't feel like she was. I'll tell you a few reasons why. Okay? When she came up to him, she said, "I'm sorry," but she was really focused on what she wanted, which was to get to the train station. Okay? And so she was not using her eyes to look at him. She was looking toward the train station. She was not using her ears to listen to him. She was not thinking about what he was telling her. All she was thinking about was getting to the train station. And then most of all, was she using her heart to try to understand why he was so upset, to show him that she cares? No. But then, thankfully, here comes Sadness, and Sadness did something really interesting. Sadness actually took the time and she sat down with him, okay? And that shows him that she is going to listen. She has time to listen to him. And so Sadness did all the right things. She used a lot of whole body listening. She used her ears to listen. She used her eyes to look. She used her body to be still. Her hands were by her side. Her feet were on the ground. Her brain was thinking about what he was telling her. But most importantly, her heart was showing him that she cared. Now, what's really cool is that me and Sadness are kind of a lot alike. Okay? So when Jared, my husband, was telling me all about this football stuff, I didn't really care about it, but I still listened because I care about him. Sadness did the same thing that I did. Sadness probably doesn't really care about that rocket. It's not her rocket. She's never played with it. She doesn't know what it looks like, and she's probably not going to miss it, right? Because it's not hers. But who does Sadness care about? Right, Sadness cares about Bing Bong. And so even though she didn't really care about the rocket, she cared about him. And so she listened with what? Her heart. Absolutely. Good job. All right. Now, if we were together, we would be doing this little assignment together. I'm going to go ahead and write it on the board, though, so that you guys have a visual. You can see what it's supposed to look like, okay? Now, we are going to go ahead and get started with this. Now, one rule is I'm not an artist, so no making fun of my drawing. We're going to draw a little stick figure. Okay, this paper is underneath the video, so you can print it out and do it along with me if you like, or you can go back and do it later. Either way is fine. So the first thing says, my mind is, so you remember our brain. Our brain is supposed to be doing what when you are listening? Yes, it's supposed to be thinking. So I'm going to write thinking. And I'm going to draw some little thinking bubbles. Next it says voice. When someone is talking to you, are you talking or are you quiet? Right, you are quiet. Your voice is off. All right, let me draw some little hands here. Like I said, I'm not an artist. When someone is talking to you and you are using whole body listening, our hands are by our side. Good job. Okay. Next, we have our eyes. When someone is talking to us, our eyes are doing what? Looking. They're watching. They're paying attention. Good job. I'm going to put looking. All right, we're going to skip heart because that's my favorite part. So let's go down to body. If someone is talking to you, should you be dancing around or should you be still? Good job. Still. All right, and here is our feet. You see those? So when someone's talking to you, should you have your feet up in the air doing crazy stuff, or should they be on the ground, on the floor? Good job. All right, now here is our favorite one. I'm going to draw a heart on our little person. You should draw a heart on yours as well. The most important part of today's lesson, if you remember nothing else, I need you to remember that one part of whole body listening is using that heart to show someone that you care about what they're saying, okay? That you care about them by listening, okay? So your heart is caring. Good job. We'll draw some hair. All right, so here's our little guy up on our board, or a little girl, however you want to draw it. And so whenever you print this out and you do it, I'd like for you to fill it in just like this. Okay? And then you may decorate this, color it, however you want. I've had people, some kiddos here drawing superheroes and dancers, some singers, let's think, football players, soccer players, you name it, we've got it. So you guys can make this however you want. Make it however you want it to look. And then you may send it in to me through Schoology like you guys have been all year. I've really enjoyed getting some work from all of our virtual learners. It makes me really happy. So don't forget to do that for me and send it in. And then a couple of things I'd like to say is that if you were here in person, we would be playing a couple of games together, which is going to be really hard for me to do without you guys here. And so I'm going to explain them to you, though, so that you can give them a try at home, okay? So I'm going to put the link to a song underneath this video, okay? In that song, you are going to hear the word "the," okay? I'm going to write it down for you. Let's see where you can see it. The word is "the." T-H-E. Okay? T-H-E. The, however you want to say it. And I have listened to this song so many times, and I took the time to count how many times the word "the" is in this song, okay? You have to use your ears and you have to use your eyes to watch the video, so that you can not only hear the words, but you can also see the words on the screen because the lyrics are going to be there. So your job is to count how many times you hear or see by using whole body listening. How many times do you hear or see the word "the"? Okay? And I know the answer, and it's more than 10. I'll give you a hint. It's more than 10. But I want you guys to kind of comment below this assignment and tell me how many times you hear the word "the" in this song that I'm going to post, okay? The second game that we would play here at school is something called telephone. Some of you guys may know what that looks like. If not, basically it's where we all get in a line. I say something silly to the first person in the line. For example, today was Thursday, and so I said, "Think about it Thursday," okay? And then that person would tell it to the next person next to them. That person would tell the secret to the next person. That person would tell it to the next person until we get all the way to the end of the line, okay? And if we were using our listening ears really, really well, it should be the same sentence I said to the first person in the line when we get all the way to the end. Now, I'll tell you the truth. We've had some pretty silly answers when we get to the end of our lines, and they're really funny because sometimes it's hard to hear people whisper. But that's something you can do with your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, whoever, is try to line everyone up and tell the first person something silly and see what it ends up being at the very end of your line. And let me know how that goes. But make sure today you remember, today is about listening. Today is about whole body listening. The most important part is that we learned today that you can also listen with your heart. You don't have to care about what someone is telling you, but you care about that person, and so you listen to them to understand. Okay? If you guys have any questions for me, please, please, please reach out. If you need anything from me, please, please let me know. And like I said before, I love getting the work from our virtual learners, and so make sure you print off our little whole body listening activity and do it for me. I'm going to move away so you guys can see the board just one more time. So if you need to pause the video to help yourself fill out that activity sheet, go ahead and pause it, and you can fill out the activity sheet. Okay? But other than that, I have nothing else planned. I just hope that you guys are having a great time at home and that virtual learning is still going really well for you. If you need help, just let me know. We miss you guys.